Proper maintenance for diesel engine generators is very important to maintain the safe service. Here, I will explain the maintenance to ensure that you will navigate safely and economically with good performance delivered as a result by the Yanmar engine model 6Ey18L. This video is basically complementary to some part of the operation manual and does not cover all the contents contained in the manual. So, please read the attached operation manual carefully in order that you make proper use of the engine. I will explain here the outline for the engine information. First of all, I will explain the main points. There are two types in the rated speed, 720 RPM and 900 RPM. We call accordingly 6Ey18L and 6Ey18AL. Both of them have 6 cylinders and bore stroke of 180 by 280 millimeters. Other main items are as you are seeing. The rotation direction of crankshaft is counterclockwise viewed from flywheel side. Cylinder is aligned in numerical order number 1 cylinder, number 2 cylinder, viewed from flywheel side. The ignition order is as you're watching in the video. The operation side of the engine is the left side viewed from flywheel side. Viewed from this operation side, governor, air motor, fuel pressure regulating valve, fuel strainer, turbocharger, air cooler, and cooling water thermostatic valve are laid out as shown here. And viewed from the anti-operation side or anti-flywheel side, automatic backwashing strainer of lube oil cooler, lube oil thermostatic valve, lube oil pump, and cooling water pump are laid out as you are watching in the video. Familiarize with the location of each device to handle them promptly in the maintenance. Wear proper clothes. Don't wear oiled clothes because they are ignitable. Depending on the type of work, wear the protective tools such as helmet, glass, mask, gloves, safety belt, shoes, and foot protector. Conduct the work by observing the basic notes for safety, cautions in maintenance and work procedure specified in the instructions and the engine safety label. It's important to check the engine before the start and after the stop and conduct the related works in order to keep it in good condition. I will explain part of the work. The first thing is explanation for the preparation before the start. Check that lubricating oil drops respectively from each part of the valve rocker arm shaft, piston pin, crank pin, main bearing and swing arm while conducting the turning with the pressure indicator cocks of all cylinders open in the state of operating the lube oil priming pump. Then, conduct air bleeding for lube oil strainer, fuel oil strainer, fuel pump, and so on. Further lubricate by hand to the governor linkage and the control device and check that they work smoothly. Move the start-stop lever from run position to stop position and vice versa, and check that the rack of fuel injection pump, first lever shaft of governor linkage, and connector work smoothly. Check if the indicator needle of the governor control shaft indicates the graduation between 4 to 6. In addition, when restarting the engine after the overhaul, check that no part or tool has been left in the crankcase. Check that the tightening of bolts at each part has not been neglected. And if the valve mechanism is disassembled, check the clearance between suction exhaust valve heads. If fuel oil, cooling water, lube oil, and others are pooled in the cylinder, it may lead to troubles such as water hammer or oil hammer, and it is dangerous. Therefore, conduct air running to prevent abnormality. Set the start-stop lever to the stop position after setting the operation point changeover switch to the engine and open the pressure indicator cocks of all cylinders. Press start switch for a few seconds to conduct air running. After finishing air running, close the pressure indicator cocks of all cylinders, set the start-stop lever to the run position, and prepare for the start. Now, I will explain the procedure for stopping the engine during the ordinary run. Block the load, run the engine for about 10 minutes with no load, and then stop it. Among HFO-specified engines, however, for the engine specified for start-stop with MDO, see to it that HFO will never be left in the piping when the engine is stopped after the fuel is changed from HFO to MDO. Set the start-stop lever in the stop position. Open the pressure indicator cock and discharge the gas from the combustion chamber by conducting the air running in the same procedure as taken before starting the engine. Open and close the valves of each system beforehand according to the conditions for the stop. For the prevention of accidents, however, do not open the side cover of crankcase for 10 minutes after stopping the engine. In this chapter, I will first explain part of daily maintenance check and adjustment procedures for fuel oil system. While the engine is running, check that the pressure and temperature of fuel oil are within the specified value that you are watching in the video. Try to clean the fuel strainer first if fuel oil pressure is out of the specified value. And for pressure adjustment by valve operation, you must properly operate each valve on the line after fully learning about the fuel line in the vessel. The regulating valve of fuel oil is equipped at the edge of fuel oil return pipe. Also, the settings of viscosity controller must be adjusted in such a way that the temperature will satisfy the specified value at the engine inlet. Next, I will explain how to disassemble and clean the fuel oil strainer. There are two units of the same FO strainers on right and left side respectively, and they are used with fuel oil, filtering the elements on both sides during the engine operation. When you disassemble and clean them during the engine operation, conduct the work one by one according to the following procedure. First, shift the switch handle to the disassembly position and open the air bleed cock. Open the drain cock and drain fuel oil. Remove the bolts and cover and pull out the element. Remove the sludge on the surface with a nylon brush by soaking the pulled out element in light oil or washing liquid. Blow the compressed air of between 0.3 and 0.5 megapascals from the inside of the element. After blowing, shine a light from the inside of the element and check if dust or foreign matters have been eliminated. Also, check for surface scratches, breaking of wire, corrosion, and others of notch wire. Reassemble the fuel oil strainer in reverse procedure for disassembly. Finally, return the changeover handle to the use position of both sides, bleed the air, and the work will be completed. This is the explanation for daily maintenance check of fuel injection pump. Check the rack graduation and the oiling quantity of pinion at every 300 to 500 hour intervals. I will explain the procedure. First, remove the pump cover to check if the rack has not got stuck. Also, check the position to see if the graduation doesn't vary widely between cylinders. For HFO specification, lube oil is fed into the pinion sleeve of the fuel injection pump, so check about it. Check the oiling quantity by the quantity of the oil dribbling from the plug after removing the plug screw for the check of drop quantity on the side of fuel injection pump. Check that the oil drops at the rate of 1 drop every 10 to 12 seconds. If the feeding volume of lube oil does not meet the specified value, remove first the cap nut of the lube oil flow rate regulating valve, loosen the lock nut, and then screw in the lube oil flow rate adjusting screw until becoming fully firm. Gradually loosen the adjusting screw and make an adjustment in such a way that the oil drops at the rate of 1 drop every 10 to 12 seconds. Securely tighten the lock nut, cap nut, and plug when the feeding quantity of the oil reaches the specified one, then the work will be completed. Management of the lube oil system will be one of the most important management items of daily maintenance. Here, I will explain the typical management method for lube oil. First, I will explain the typical cleaning procedure for lube oil system in the vessel. Select the purifier based on gravity board selection procedure described in the operation manual of purifier. The appropriate interval for discharging the sludge varies with the quantity of the mixed-in insoluble content, so adjust the interval for discharging after having checked the degree of dirt of the bowl. Conduct the cleaning treatment with the feeding oil quantity covering 20 to 25% of the rating capacity of the purifier. set the heating temperature at 90 to 95 degrees centigrade. Keep the temperature variation within plus or minus 2 degrees. Continuous overflow cleaning method allows you to curb the dirt level of the lube oil to a certain level because it is the method with its own tank and constantly cleans the lube oil during the operation. Transfer the lube oil in both the sump tank and overflow tank of the settling tank regularly to carry out the cleaning of the tanks. For batch cleaning treatment, the lube oil is regularly replaced by the cleaned lube oil. Therefore, you need to determine the replacement interval by watching the dirt level of the lube oil in the sump tank. For example, transfer the lube oil of number 2 diesel engine generator to the tank. Let the already cleaned lube oil flow to number 2 diesel engine generator. Transfer the used lube oil to the settling tank. In preparation for the replacement next time, conduct the cleaning treatment for the used lube oil. Set the cleaning time in such a way that the lube oil of the settling tank flows through the purifier 20 times or more. Regularly carry out the cleaning of both the sump tank and overflow tank. In case that there is no settling tank, and the method accordingly requires you to conduct the cleaning treatment by connecting the sump tank with the purifier one-on-one, make sure that the takeoff position of lube oil is distant from the return position. You cannot obtain the cleaning effect if the takeoff position and the return position of lube oil are too close together. Analyze the property lube oil after every 500 hours of engine operation. Exchange lube oil based on the table. During the engine operation, check that the lube oil temperature and pressure are within the specified value that you are watching in the video. If they are out of specified value, try to find the cause and take appropriate measures. Here, I will explain the procedure for operating the adjusting valve of the lube oil pressure and thermostatic valve on the engine side. First, I will explain the procedure for operating the adjusting valve of lube oil pressure. Remove the cap nut and loosen the lock nut. Make adjustments in screwing the adjusting bolt and adjust the pressure. After the adjustments, securely tighten the lock nut, screw the cap nut, and the work will be completed. I will continue to explain the procedure for operating lube oil temperature adjustment valve. Remove the cap nut, measure the position of the adjusting bolt, and check the valve. After the check, loosen the lock nut, turn the adjusting bolt, and adjust the temperature. After the adjustment, tighten the lock nut, fit the cap nut, and the work will be completed. I will explain the procedure for cleaning the lubricant oil bypass strainer, which is to be done about once a week. This centrifugal bypass strainer is very effective to control the increase of lube oil contamination during the engine operation. During the engine operation, always open the inlet valve of the bypass strainer to flow the oil through it. It is important to clean it frequently in order to sustain the effect. First, close the valve on the inlet side of the bypass strainer and remove the tightening nut of the main body cover. Detach the main body cover and remove the rotor assembly inside. Loosen the tightening nut of rotor cover and disassemble the rotor. Remove the sludge on the inside wall of the rotor. If the thickness of sludge deposition is over 10 millimeters, the effect of the cleaning will not be produced. Clean the rotor body and rotor cover. Check for the clogging of the nozzle. After renewing O-ring, reassemble the centrifugal bypass strainer in reverse procedure for disassembly. If the paper insert is put in, it will be easy to remove the sludge next time. Fix the reassembled rotor assembly on the main body and check that it smoothly rotates. Fix the main body cover, tighten the nut, and the work will be completed. The lube oil strainer fitted on this engine is the automatic backwashing filter. I will explain the mechanism by using the sectional view. Lube oil is filtered by running from inside to outside of the strainer element. The cleaning nozzle rotates during the operation by the turbine that is driven by the lube oil pressure. At the tip of the nozzle, the flow of the lube oil is reverse, dirt is discharged, and filtration and cleaning are constantly repeated. At daily work, check both indicators of revolution and differential pressure while the engine is running. If the red portion appears on the indicator of differential pressure, disassemble the lube oil strainer to check and clean. Remove the air vent plug and drain fluid inside the filter. Detach the cover after draining. Detach the whole filter element from the housing together with the flashing arm and the gear. Be careful not to damage the removed gear tooth. Remove the upper plate from the whole element detached. Pull out the filter element from the holder in such a way that you push it up from the bottom and pull it from above. Leave the pulled out filter element soaked in the cleaning agent for 24 hours. Conduct the cleaning by blowing compressed air from the outside of strainer element. It is more effective to use hot water of high pressure instead of compressed air. Conduct the visual check after cleaning. Replace any parts with scratches or dirt. Put the filter element in the main body return the upper plate and then insert it into the main body. Change all the O-rings when fixing. Rotate the flashing shaft slightly and engage the gear with the driving pinion of the reduction gear. Finally, fix the cover and the work will be completed. In order to maintain good engine performance, it is important to maintain proper boost condition combined with other elements. Here, I will explain the daily maintenance of turbocharger that is the most important in the air system. First, I will explain the cleaning procedure for turbocharger blower that is to be done once a week. For the washing of the turbocharger blower, use the hand pump, washing liquid, and fresh water that you are watching in the video. Open first the drain cock of the boost air chamber. Connect the cleaning hose to the filtering port and pour cleaning liquid of about 0.25 liters in about 20 to 40 seconds. In the same procedure, pour the same quantity of fresh water. After repeating these procedures 3 or 4 times, close the drain cock and close the cover of the filling port. After finishing the washing of the blower, be sure to conduct a load operation for 10 to 15 minutes in order to dry the blower. Next, I will explain the washing procedure for the turbocharger turbine that is to be done once every 200 to 250 hours. The washing is done proactively in order to prevent the excessive dirt that causes the performance decrement, and the effect can be seen by conducting regularly. The turbine washing is conducted by using the washing device and the specified solid washing agent that you are watching in the video. The limit value of boost air pressure and temperature at the turbine inlet while the washing is done will be exactly as you are watching in the video, so conduct the washing by adjusting the load. Open the valves of 2 points in the order of solid injection tip valve firstly and service air inlet valve next. Flow air for about 30 seconds to 1 minute and cool the device. After cooling, close the valves in the order of service air inlet valve firstly and solid injection valve next. Put the specified quantity of washing agent in the tank of the device and securely tighten the cap. Now, open the valves of 3 points in the order of service air inlet firstly, solid injection valve secondly, and engine inlet valve thirdly. In doing so, the washing agent will be poured into the turbine in a matter of a few seconds. After washing, close the valves of the 3 points in the order of engine inlet valve firstly, solid injection tip valve secondly, and service air inlet valve thirdly, and the work will then be completed.